We are going to cover 3.412 and 3.413 here. 3.412 is basically just saying practice. So we've talked about three different types of inheritance. We talked about this normal inheritance where you can have a dominant and a recessive, and you do a cross, and you can predict the genotypes and the phenotype ratios of the offsprings, right? Just in case you're wondering, this thing monohybrid cross means that there's only one set of alleles we're looking at. The other one that we need to know is sex-linked, right? We talked about sex-linked in hemophilia, and we also talked about sex-linked in color blindness, right? So color blindness is the other one. So please know the notation and also how to do that. Remember, the Y will never carry the allele on it because it's linked to the X chromosome. And the last one was codominance, which we looked at in blood type. So blood type AB is codominant. And we also looked at it with sickle cell anemia, where you could have the HbA and the HbS. Sometimes they might talk about this thing called incomplete dominance. And this means that both are kind of expressed. So you can look in this example here. If we have a pink plant and a pink plant, it's a combination of the two alleles. So you can think of this as like an R for red and a W for white. Remember, for codominant, we use different letters. And this would be an R and a W, right? So the R and the R, you can't see this because I'm in the way. There we go. So the R and the R produce this red plant. Whoops. The W and the W produce this white plant, and the R and the W produce a pink one, and then the W and the R produce this pink one. So that would be an example of incomplete dominance. So practice, and I will torch you with practice, so don't worry. 3.413, which I'm going to move to a different slide. There's just a bunch of different practices here. But 3.413 is saying deduce the genotypes and the phenotypes of individuals in a pedigree chart. So a pedigree chart is this madness where you see like who's related to who had what baby. Just to talk about the rules real quick. So circles are women, squares are males, okay? So you can see person number A is a male and person number B is a female. And then you have to try to guess like what their genotypes are based on the information here. A couple rules. So one big rule is that if you see two parents that are normal, that are unaffected, right? We have a normal female and a normal male up here. If they have a baby, this person number C, that is affected, that means the disease is recessive. Recessive disease is when two healthy parents have a sick child. And that's because this must have been a heterozygous couple. So if we go like big T, little t for these two parents, C here, individual C, was little t. How about D, right? Because D is unaffected, so D could be one of the two, right? It could be big T, or it could be big T, little t. But you need to look down, right? D had a baby with, I can't read the, whoops. This is little t. D had a baby with this male who was affected, and they had an affected child. So the affected child here was little t, which means child H received a little t from its father and must have received a little t from its mother. And that's how those two alleles came together to produce an affected male down here. So those are some of the tricky things I'll ask you to do for sure. So just lots of practice, watch my videos, do my practice questions, and you'll be okay.